Okay. Hello everybody. Welcome to the live. I'm a version of Supergirl here. I wanted to do a different version today just because, let me bring this down a little bit. Oh my goodness. Hello, hello. My mic setup's a little different today just because it was Sunday and I didn't really get a chance to do everything the way I wanted to, so here we are. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure that this is flipped. I wanted to try out a different version of Supergirl today. This is very like my burlesque kind of thing, and I think it's also just I think it comes from like one of the movie versions. I don't think anything canon per se. I like the cape and the details and all the kind of stuff. So hi Dandy Winnie Man, welcome to the live. So we're gonna do a fun read today. We're going to do a Justice League read. We're gonna jump into the middle of it just because the styling and the drawing of each of the characters I really like, in my opinion. So I do have, hold on, let me make sure. And Danny Bunny went, hello, welcome to the live. So I wanted to do, too bad she wasn't done properly in that film. I know, it's a shame. Wasted opportunity because you had Michael Keaton's Batman, I think, in that. They really didn't do Flash like Barry Allen any favors in that movie either. But I mean, I think what it opens it up to is the fact that you can have different versions of Supergirl. So this is my like, it's her Bob version of, it reminds me of like burlesque because I'm working on, let me see, I feel like, am I even? Okay, yeah, I am. Okay, I need to say it. Well, I'll come get you. No worries. I am going to be, let me pull this back a bit. Oh, James. James Random, thank you for that, Galaxy. Let's see if you can see my whole outfit. It's a little bit big on me. So I got this one on a whim. It actually came sooner than my other outfits, so I was like, oh my gosh, I'll just put it on today. But even though it's a little big, I have to like pull it in a bit more, and I want to add a bit more that pasties on underneath. So TikTok can't get mad for, guess what, too much action. Oh, I want to thank you so much. Oh, but yes, I can also, well, I've been going through, as I mentioned on Discord and on the stream, my own mental health crisis. I laugh just because, you know, me and my bestie talked about this. Like, if you don't laugh at it, maybe you like cry or fall apart. And, you know, comedians or people who can find, you know, the funny side of the situation, like dark humor, that's a way of how we can kind of, I mean, the universe does also have an interesting, wicked sense of humor, even if we don't really get the joke right away. Yeah, so I'll tell you a little bit about what happened with me and Pokey. I wish you all of the best, and hopefully going forward, I think I've gotten, am I just overwhelmed? Oh, of course, Pokey. Like, you know what? I am so aware that I have so much beautiful divine assistance available to me if I only ask for it. And I'm sure you guys feel the same way too, right? Where you have certain people you can call on for help, but you want to make sure you don't A, overuse that help, and B, ask the right person or the right, you know, the right person, the right friend for the right type of help. And also, as I said, you guys, like, I'm from Winnipeg, Manitoba, and so friendships growing up, thank goodness I had them because my home life was really, really abusive and problematic. Now, when I came to the big city and basically like outran my past, I put all of those memories into like a box. Like if we look at the psyche as a house, I put it all in like this closet in this like back attic in some part of my psyche. I was like, nope, never gonna look at all of how much, because it hurts too much, right? All of that, right? So as I have been writing my own book and revisiting myself at 14, and of course like coming back and reading comic books to you guys, I feel like there's some lag. Oh, and let me share trauma. Yes, you guys. Me and my sister talk about, we're like, well, really happy we're not psychopathic psycho killers or anything like that, because, you know, this world is not exactly the easiest place to have our strong mental health. Been choosing to go bald. Trauma. Let's see here. Infinity hugs. Oh, Tui. Much love to you. I only ask Jesus for help. Becca Vision. Yes, yes. I tell people I'm available. Typically, nobody's there for me. Oh, Pokey. I know. And thank you. This is. I'm gonna get into this in just a little bit about when we talk about MK Ultra, like mind control, aliens, all that kind of like woo-woo weird stuff. And then we're gonna read some Justice League. So I'm gonna get you all up to speed. I have my mic in a different kind of way. My mic stand broke the other day, so I've been doing reconfiguring. I got a new audio mixer. I've got a whole bunch of other stuff ready to go. So Pokey, when I do have our call, I should be able to have the equipment. Like, your advice is kind of useless if you give me certain advice and I'm like, yeah, I don't have a computer powerful enough to do that. So I needed to get a proper capture card and a few other things as well. And yes, balance, which I only, let's see here, in normal Aquarius fashion, definitely. Aquarius is much like this. We are in Aquarius season, so happy birthday. Again, Pokey. Nathan, happy birthday. So I'm so sorry that, like, you know, that I've been kind of like all over the place lately, and I know that I've been trying to do a better job of following through on my promises, right? You know, I'm definitely that type of person who, like, because I have a Gemini moon, I get very like emotionally excited about things very easily, and I'll commit, and then, like, you know, the practical side comes into play, and I'm like, wow, this actually is going to take time that I don't have. And as much as I want to do something, I don't actually have the time at this very moment in order to do that. And so I've been having to deal with my own personal healing, which I've ignored for a big chunk of my life. Because when I moved to Toronto from Winnipeg, and this was in 2006, 2007 or so. I graduated from high school in like 2003. So crazy. My interview today was like, grew up in the 90s as well. It was just crazy, like a time capsule kind of thing. So, but I went through trauma, right? Just because of a lot of stuff, like what happened with my mom, my dad, my dad's father, so my grandfather on that side, died of Alzheimer's. And Alzheimer's is a very difficult disease to cope with, just because people forget who you are when we talk about things like memory, like remembering. I myself, because of all the trauma that I went through at that time, did not, like, I chose like not to remember it. You know, it's like I'm that type of person. I know how you guys are when it comes to like breakups, but like I take breakups really hard, whether it's friendship breakups or like leaving a job or like graduation or like the ends of things. I have like such a hard time with that kind of stuff. But that being said, they need to happen. It's like a part of life. And if you were to never do that, then you never have another new beginning, right? So let's see here. We've got a lot of message. Wayne Campbell, we are all writing our own book. Yes. Yes. I love that. Matters. Greco Vision. Yes. Zono X. Hi. Welcome. Zono X, I love your name because it's already like a pre-packaged comic book kind of name. Supergirl, indeed. I would like to call this like Kara. So actually, that's a great topic. We can, oh my gosh, my mic just, at my snowball mic. Let me see if I can move it a little bit closer to me. Hopefully new updated setup coming up very soon. It's been very crazy here in Toronto. We've had a lot of snowstorms. So I think if you guys are on the East Coast, you've been dealing with the same kind of thing where like it's been crazy snow. Let's see here. I'm doing well. Oh, thank you so much, girl. And which equipment to buy and which products to, oh, well, there's that too, right? How much to budget for too as well. Your sister, oh yeah, she ignores, yeah, a lot of her friends call her a contrarian, and I kind of agree, and then she got very upset. I'd be calling her a contrarian. I'm like, that's of course what a contrarian would do, but it's okay. My sign is Omega, all the signs and none of them at the same time. Henny, that's an interesting place to be. I'll call... You know, the liminal space people, right? People who live in between zones. There is a saying, I haven't been doing astrology specific content in a little while, but if we're going to look at what you resonate with, right? What characters you resonate with, that is a part of realizing what characters you're choosing to play in this cosmic game of life, right? When I went through huge trauma coming to, oh, hey, Red Heron. Let me make sure I'm going to go into my story. And Pokey, yes, thank you for sharing my little crypto. Win Campbell, I was 4 years old, deaf. Trotina Electrica, oh, hello. Music keeps, yes. And so you don't know. Yes, I love, music has so saved, I wear... music and the moon around my neck. Music has saved my life. Music, the gym, dance. Lots of things have saved my life. But your emotional state, it does happen. Yes, I'm surprised you didn't kick me. When did I see you? I wouldn't kick you. Did I see? Yes, I saw the comics you recommended, Zona X. I will get back to you on that. I have some fun news too. I'm going to be doing some DC cosplay collabs coming up as Supergirl. So not this Supergirl. I'll probably go back to my original Supergirl, and I was Supergirl in 1985. So we'll come back to that, as well as I do have Mary Marvel on deck. I have Starfire. Starfire, I have to figure out how I'm going to do the orange skin thing. But I did do a lighting workshop recently, which imprisoned Supergirl till Barry saved her, which she was dead until a fixed point of time. Yeah, so Supergirl's death, how she comes back from that, I am actually not quite sure. Maybe you guys can help me with that in terms of how she gets rewritten back into the continuity. We'll talk. Let's see here. And Red Heron, hello, my friend. I was actually talking to you guys about like homework, about how looking into what characters represent your inner. So every female has like an inner masculine. Like when you have like dreams or daydreams, like when I was like 14. Oh, thank you, Wayne. And I was like daydreaming about the boys that I loved. Like I loved the Backstreet Boys, you guys. I had such a big crush on like Brian Literal, B-Rock from, and part of the reason why I had a thing for redheads, first of all. I don't know why. Just a thing. Richie from Highlander, the TV show, I really loved too. When he died on that show, it like hit me hard. And I'm like, I was one of those people where like all that stuff mattered to me on some strange level, right? Like, I don't know. Like, I didn't care about the actors, as I told you guys before, but like when characters died in series, you know, it really hurt, you know, and you can feel that in certain shows, like in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. You know, like they killed Buffy and then like they resurrected her again. And it was like this weird thing of like, oh my gosh, like why did you kill her in the first place? Because like the resurrection thing was so tough, because she was like, I was like basically in heaven and you like brought me back here just because like you need me to deal with your stuff. And oh, I love Buffy a lot too. Sarah Michelle Gellar, get at me. I would love to cast you in something. Let me see here. I have to work in the East. Let's see, everyone's plane ticket. Yes, I will. We'll see about that and getting a jet. Be fun if you had a friend who could fly, right? Okay, so that's the thing with me and traveling with Wolfie, my little doggo, my little crypto, is that he's become too big to fly in cabin with me, right? And so my friend Nicole, who has like an English bulldog and she travels with her doggo, she's like, Rachel, just get him to be like an emotional support dog. I'm like, I have to go through this whole process, but until then, driving it is. Oh no, it's okay, Wayne. Friday the 13th is in 2 weeks. I like Friday the 13th. I was number 13 when I used to play basketball back in the day. The funniest comics. I'll gift you as an apology. Oh, Wayne, you're being very sweet. No need to apologize. Or the new Supergirl movie. Yes, you're not a pain, Wayne Campbell. Don't think that. Don't think that. I will say, you guys, we'll get into this in just a second too. DCU timeline. I love redheads too. I love redheads so much. I don't know what it is. It's just a thing. But I also, I love just talent in people. There's something attractive about like musicians, right? Or someone who's really good at their craft. Or like I was very lucky growing up that I had a lot of friends who were into musical theater, and in Winnipeg, a lot of the high schools used to throw, their drama would do like a school play, right? Or a musical. So like Peter Pan or these types of things. And so it's amazing how like your friends who are like, you hang out with and like, you're partying with and stuff. And then you get to see them on stage and like put on a character and like really like kill it and like just really sell the character. And you also know them as like your friend. It's like the coolest thing. And I think the magic of theater has taught me a lot about just life in general, you guys, right? Because if you think about work, when I think about when I was used to work in the corporate world, when I think about playing tonight, you guys, right? I'm Supergirl, but I'm also like my version, my imagination has decided this is this version of Supergirl, right? So Peacemaker too. Oh my gosh, I got to make notes. I have new notepads. I got some new notepads to make some more notes. I feel like a Tesla, like random notepads everywhere. I've been watching Smallville. Oh my gosh, Red Herring. Kristen Krug. If I could get her, oh my gosh, if I would love her to just play Lana Lang. And because if you guys know, in the comic books, actually, Lana Lang is supposed to be a redhead. Kind of funny, right? And funny thing, my bestie growing up, her initials were LL. Thing about superhero names, if you have alliterations when you have that first beginning sound, the same, like Clark Kent is alliteration, Lana Lang, Lois Lane, Lex Luthor. Who else is a superhero? That's not a hard rule. That is just like one of the ways you have like a tell of a superhero name. Here we go. My dog is Alwa. Okay, I don't know why it censored that. I'm going to do that. Oh, we cannot become lovers, Wayne. I'm married, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately. I love being married. You know what? That's a great way to kind of put it. I really love Kryptonian mythology and lore. I've been working on a Power Girl cosplay. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Power Girl, but Power Girl is a version of Supergirl from Earth 2, and she can't like hang out with Kara because like they'll short circuit each other. Their powers will short circuit each other. It takes training, not for just the animal. You need to diagnose it. Yeah, exactly, Poke. And also, if I like abuse that, I don't want Wolfie to be in a situation where like we're in the airport and he can't get on the plane and we have to be somewhere and like they don't accept. Like I'm just not gonna put him through that and us through that. I'm never gonna leave Wolfie out of my sight. There's too many scary stories of like dogs who are like left in cargo with like a crew and all that kind of stuff. From a therapist, I don't know if you speak to one, which yes, I do need to. I need to find a therapist, a good therapist. I think I might have found one today, actually, just because she's got this artistic and music background, and I feel like when it comes to communication for me, I communicate in, although I love words and like I love writing and speaking and all that stuff, I'm really a lot more interested in all the stuff that isn't said. Like, if you love the same song as me, or if you like the same character as me, or the same stories as me, or we find a certain character arc or certain storylines important in our lives, it's like our way of like adding a buffer so that we don't have to necessarily look at really painful memories, right? So let's see here. Oh, you guys are very sweet. Peter Parker. The tribal chief is this is a new suit. Yes, this is my new suit. It's my it needs to be modded to be a little bit tighter, but it's my like Supergirl in space kind of suit, you know? I have my Supergirl blonde, like I call her like a Supergirl classic, because and Gwen Stacy, hi girl. Because we're going to talk about Supergirl's origins in just a bit, and you guys can interface your knowledge with my knowledge, and then we will get into the read for tonight. I know Power Girl, yeah, it is me, Kara, yes. Kara Z. Girl, if you got Power Girl, it's gonna get... Yeah, Power Girl's outfit is like... I also have to think of how I would frame that as well. And she's just very... Well, I mean, I can pull it off, but, you know, she's very, you know... There's a fun animated short where Green Arrow and Supergirl classic are, like, looking over the intercom and Power Girl falls through the portal. And, like, Supergirl's like, oh my gosh, it's me. And Green Arrow's like, yeah, it's you, but she's a little bit more mature. And then like close up to her boobs. I'm like, yeah, she's a little bit more grown up. She's more like Power Girl is more like Power Woman, maybe, right? Let's not talk about legal. Okay, let's see here. We'd be showing off. Yeah, I'm committed. Yes. For the calendar, we could do that, but that would be for... I already have this year's calendar that I'm hopefully going to have ready for the Lunar New Year of the Horse, which is very exciting for me because I love horses and unicorns and that energy. And so it's like moving away from the snake, shedding away our old skin, and stepping into freedom as to the wild and free individual of who you are, right? Yes. Paul, Supergirl. So, hands up, you guys. Supergirl, like, how do you know Supergirl, right? Because there's a few renditions of her, versions of her. There's the 1984 movie with Helen. Oh gosh, I forget her name now. She's pretty though. I don't really know what she was in beyond that movie, though. There's that movie. There's the one that's coming out with Millie Alcock. There's also, like, where this suit is from, which is, I think, the Flash movie, where she was, like, the darker hair, like, didn't talk much, very kind of, like, sullen. There's all the animated versions of Supergirl. There's Smallville. I actually really like Smallville's version of Supergirl, almost like that Eastern European kind of vibe, which I kind of consider as well. There's the DC Bombshells version of her. So there's all that kind of stuff. Yes, and of course, like the live action TV show, Melissa. I like her a lot too. She's got that girl next door vibe of it. Okay. So why do I like Supergirl? So me growing up, my background is I'm half Filipino and I'm half South African. Right, and I grew up out in the prairies of Winnipeg, Manitoba. So I didn't really have anyone who was like me around me, and also I had a mother who was very demeaning, right? And it like just had this whole idea. Like I really, really love Marilyn Monroe because I really relate to the challenges she had growing up with a mother who had mental health issues, right? Because it's always about your mom, so you don't end up getting a childhood, right? So because you're the one who's basically becoming like a caretaker, as opposed to like being able to like stretch your imagination, play, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, luckily enough, I did have a dad who was wonderful, but also because he was a professor in computer science, really logical, mathematical, his way of showing love was not in a way that you would, like, it's not like warm and fuzzy. And so this is where I relate to Kryptonian upbringing a lot, right? So if you think about the planet Krypton, which is where Superman and Supergirl are from, it's supposed to be considered very, like, scientific, right? A very, like, high-tech society. Like, if you've watched the show Krypton, they actually talk in there about how, so the show Krypton's actually about Superman and Supergirl's grandfather. Because Supergirl's dad is Zor-El and Superman's dad is Jor-El, and they are brothers. And those two brothers, their dad is Sed-El, I think S-E-D-L. It's kind of funny they named him Sed because it's kind of close to Seed, S-E-I-D, which is like ecstatic magic. We won't get into magic today. Right? So, where are we going with this? Where was I going? Yeah, Krypton itself. So Krypton is a planet. It's supposed to actually exist, according to NASA, here in this 3D realm, in the Crow constellation, right? Corvus. It's so funny how we like map out these like imaginary realms in like 3D. Like, oh yeah, it's over here if we were to go somewhere, right? So, but on Krypton, to go back to it being like high tech, they don't really have, it's been said in a few stories that they don't have babies in the natural way. Because it's too dangerous, right? They just basically like match the genes together and then that's how you have babies, right? So when Sed is matched with, I don't know if she ends up being like their grandmother, but they match their genes and like they're like, oh, we're a good match, so we'll have babies together, right? And it's also been said that there's this, the kids in Krypton, they like learn engineering by the time they're like 10. So there's this big push on things like science, right? And less on things like feelings and like emotional intelligence and that kind of stuff. Things are kind of like put into these like very strict guild kind of situations. So I kind of relate to that, right? I grew up very like academics, and education is the most important thing. And I had to, how should I put this? Get over a lot of my own arrogance when it comes to learning things, right? Because just because you are good at English, writing essays, doesn't mean you're going to be good at algebra or good at like creating maps or good at following maps or good at playing tennis or good at being an artist. So these things in terms of knowing what you're good at, once you know that, you do still need to practice it, right? So we don't really have a great job of giving kids the space to figure whatever that is, because adults love to put their own stuff on. Like, I had to do that. Like, they're putting their own expectations on their kids. And it's not, in many cases, it's not really on purpose in a negative way, right? It's, you have hopes and dreams and you want the best for your children, hopefully. And it's just this idea of like, where do your dreams fit into the world, right? And what if your dreams are going to be something where your child is going to have to go up against the status quo, right? Like, and you're going to be a rebel and it's going to be tough for you, right? I think it's brought up a lot that Superman, Clark Kent, is who he is because of the upbringing he's had. And yes, he's got superpowers because he's Kryptonian, but his heart comes from the fact that he had parents out in the farm and has good morals and had a great upbringing and learned to love his home, right? So there's a lot in there in that story, right? Even though it's not like a real story, it's just a made up tale, right? Who I'm playing right now isn't real, right? I'm just an alien from space, but it's all in a way for us to understand things that are just really tough to talk about. So bringing us back to my own personal story, we'll get into the reading. I was going through my own like mental health crisis of like, my mother was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder when I was like very young, and what that is, oh, Red Heron, thank you. To clarify what that is, it's part of a classification of disorders that are like mood disorders, right? Red Heron, you're very sweet. Thank you. And mood disorders, if you study psychology, which I have had, there's like this big book of like all the different disorders you have, like everything from depression to bipolar to anxiety to all this stuff. But the personality disorders, which include things like narcissism and borderline personality disorder, and obsessive compulsive disorder, and a bunch of things like that. Remember, these are all just classifications, right? And it's really tough for people to like not get your identity caught up with these things that perhaps you're just going through at the time, right? So if we don't look at certain behaviors that we're doing and instead be like, oh, I deserve to do this because I was hurt so badly, we end up like just propagating the cycle, right? So my mom was really, really terrible to me, right? And I had all this conversation with my sister, and it only dawned on me recently that like, oh, my mom did have this diagnosis, but she never actually actively sought treatment for it. And now treatment for it is difficult because it's not like you can just throw antidepressants, or you can't just throw stuff at a problem and be like, okay, your mental health, your depression, your grief, your sadness, gone, right? It so doesn't work that way, right? And I don't think I want it to. However, there can be periods where like I've asked like my friends this, I'm like, when I've gone through heartbreak or when I've gone through loss, the amount of pain, emotional pain that heartbreak causes is so extreme for me. Like it's to a point, which is why I tended to do this thing where I keep relationships at a certain distance because it hurts too much for me when that relationship ends for whatever reason, whether or not you have to move away or things happen or like whatever happens, it breaks up, it hurts, right? And so that part is the whole bravery that comes in, the courage that comes into having relationships. But the thing about borderline personality disorder is that there's a huge fear of being abandoned and being rejected. Now this is perceived fear or of this, right? It's not necessarily something that's actually happening, right? Where we only have our perception, right? Like I don't know what you're thinking. I can only tell based on what you choose to let me know about it, right? And then I can just go by that information. Which is why, like, I still feel like mental illness still has like a terrible stigma in our society, even though we do have like, as Pokey, like therapy's a lot more accepted, I guess, socially. Like if you're like, I'm gonna go seek out therapy, you're not like, oh my gosh, like what's wrong with you? Like you're actually seeking out help and assistance to get yourself together, right? So borderline personality disorder is about this perceived idea of like rejection or abandonment. Now, here's the thing though, when you're actually in situations where you are being abandoned and you are being actually abused, it actually like reinforces this, very primal protection perspective, right? So rage ends up happening. And we end up, or I have done this in the past, where you sabotage certain romantic relationships so then at least I can control the end of that relationship, right? And then I don't have to get so attached where like I love you too much. And then this hurts like way more later, right? Because, yeah, so like I've had to like work through all of that in myself and in my own friendships and done a lot of repairing for it. And then also just realize that I do go through these periods where I'm just really, really sad, right? And I'll like listen to like all my favorite 90s jams and cry and old movies and eat donuts and like ice cream and just and draw and do all those things and just realize I need to take time out to just do that and like complete privacy and just feel it and the whole pain of it in like every cell of my body. Like yeah, a story I wanted to share today, you guys, before I started to read was on YouTube for Wolfie, we like to put on things when we're away so that he doesn't feel like he's alone, like dog videos and stuff. And there's this rescue, this fox rescue that I put on that was run by a lady named Michaela Rains. And Michaela's a beautiful redheaded girl, and she had friends with this fox named Finnegan Fox, and they had a fox rescue, and she had a daughter named Freya and a husband named Ethan, and they had a YouTube channel. And then I think it was earlier this year, no, it was last year, early last year, I woke up one morning and I saw like on my YouTube thing a horrible loss for the rescue, and I was like, oh my goodness, like what happened? And I watched it, and Michaela had killed herself. Like she, I don't know if I can talk about that like too much. Like she unalived herself, and it was because of online bullying. And you know, it's like one of those things where when you're doing a rescue with animals, a lot of people have their own opinions about how you're doing things when you're raising kids, when you're like, you know, like so. And she herself was open about having her own, I forget what type of personality disorder, but so to forgive someone truly, yeah, I used to be in therapy speech. There's no fun unless I'm there to help. Yeah, I think it's also finding the right therapist, you guys, right? Like, it's just like when I was a personal trainer. You have so many different types of personal trainers, but finding the right fit, who you feel comfortable with, learning about exercises, or who like will help motivate you to come to the gym all the time, is that kind of thing too. Let me see if we could Insta. Let's see here. You need to forgive somebody so in that way you can heal, hence the word forgive. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, no, because it's like that's a more of like letting go your resentment, right? And your feelings of having that other person control your ability to have happiness, right? I love that line from Rihanna's Diamonds where like, out in the beautiful sea, I choose to be happy. You and I, we're like diamonds in the sky. You're a shooting star I see. Yeah, a vision of ecstasy. So anyways, let's just get into the read. I didn't want it to be all sad and stuff, but I've been going through my own healing process as I've been coming through, you know, being like, yeah, you know what? I probably should get therapy for myself, right? As well as I came back to dance. I hadn't been dancing for a while, right? Like freestyle dancing is one thing when I do my DJ dance thing, but going to dance classes, learning choreography, practicing technique and stuff is something I only went back to very recently. I found a studio which I really love, so I'm going to be teaching again. And so coming back to dance has been very therapeutic for me as well, because body language, moving, like I put on certain songs that have a lot of meaning in it for me, and I let myself dance to it, and I'll cry, and I'll just, you know, you just feel let your body tell you everything it needs to tell you, right? Let your body miss who you need to miss. Let your body love who it wants to love, and just feel it, right? Have the courage, have the bravery to feel it, right? Yeah, because it's not always easy. Take it from someone who knows. And I do yell at Halo. So, I'm going to jump into where Supergirl appears here. I do love this. So look at how hot Star Sapphire and Green Lantern look together. Kind of love. Let me start from there, actually. This fun little title card. And yes, Pokey, I definitely do yell at Halo as a way to... It's like stress relief for me. A way for me to release anger and rage is through that, right? So welcome to the read, guys. So we're in Sydney, Australia. It's the G20 Summit. Oh my gosh, I think we have the G20 Summit here in Toronto at some point. I'm bored, Impulse, and I'm unconcerned. You're always bored. I need you to stay focused. The G20 Summit is an annual forum of world leaders. Zzz. So we've got the Flash and Supergirl right here and Wonder Woman, who gather to work out world economic issues. Bart, these are presidents and kings. If anything were to happen to them, it would trigger a planet-wide panic. Flash is always like making jokes when it comes to like on the Justice League, right? AKA Inferno Bait, which is exactly why we're guarding them from an attack by a meteor storm, time-traveling assassins, a poison plague. Who knows with Inferno? They're super terrorists, and we've never fought any group so unpredictable. Most of us have super speed, the thinking being that we can react quickly, while Green Lantern and Star Sapphire are here to add the muscle. I thought I was the muscle. Bonus hero, you are? I am known as Thunderlord, gifted with a supersonic scream. Sounds like Black Canary too. Oh my goodness. Oh gosh, I need to have some water. Let's see here. It tickles. Hi, Craig Myers. It's funny how people get so involved in comic books. I would say it's just, I shouldn't say just. Nothing is just. It's a medium by which you're telling a story. If everything is a story, right? Comic books literally look like, I love how, look at this, how it looks like it's a crescent moon as well. So you can have a little bit more fun with even just how you set the panels up, right? So also I get a lot of my inspiration for my cosplays, and my favorite part of even reading books is the dialogue, right? And as you can tell here, like most of the writing, most of the reading that happens in comic books is in speech. Everything else just happens in the visuals, right? And that's one of the things I love reading fantasy novels, but one gripe I have is that like I really don't care much about like reading the whole description about like the walls and the furniture and like what was on the ground. Mari Landry, I mean, okay, let's see here. Yes, right here. Yeah, this is like just how, or like not every page is not the same, right? So whether or not you're going to be reading, left to right or right to left or up and down or the whole page, it's kind of like how you can also reframe your relationship to time, right? Because you are here in the story, right? And then you can project or foreshadow forward because you know the way stories work, right? And if you know certain characters, and if you're into like character-based storytelling like I am, because you are aware of certain characters, you can kind of forecast what may happen. So yes, Always nice to see you too, Wayne. Okay, and Samurai Ninja, hi. Hi, Maury. Visual expressions, spider, bat, plush, hello. Is that Dan Mora? Let me see. Yes, you are right. It is Dan Mora. I really like, so people have been asking me to do a Wonder Woman cosplay. And so I may give in and do that. I do have like a Wonder Girl Donna Troy cosplay that I'm working on. But we'll see if I do a version of oh, you're very sweet, Maury. We do need Wonder Woman. Gwen Stacy, you're funny. Like I mean, I do work out. I mean, as I said though, I'm very little. I'm not like Amazonian by any means. However, I do love Greek and Roman mythology, and Diana Prince. Wonder Woman is fully entrenched in that. It's just that I relate to Supergirl a lot, just because she's the reason why Supergirl is Supergirl and Superman is Superman, although technically Supergirl is older than Superman, is because when she was sent to Earth, she was already like a teenager, like 16 years old, right? But she ends up in stasis for like 30 years around the Earth, whilst Superman grows up in Smallville, becomes, you know, Daily Planet, Clark Kent, and Superman, right? So by the time Supergirl crash lands in her pod and like wakes up, she's still 16, right? But her little baby cousin is now grown up to be Superman. So it's like this strange thing, because like she's like I don't know if any of you guys are like older like aunties or older cousins, and then you go to like the baptism, or like you have to babysit like your little like annoying bratty like little sibling or something, and like now they're all grown up and like older than you, and they're like the superhero, and you're like, I didn't even know we had powers. So there's a lot there that I relate to, because that's a big you don't even know these people, and you actually have memories of Krypton, right? Versus Clark being a baby, you don't really remember anything when you're like a little kid. So you didn't even know you were Kryptonian for most of your life, right? So until you start to express powers and you actually ended up with great parents, you didn't end up with what Supergirl ends up with, which is like being tested on because she's an alien, right? She has this scene I remember I was reading in a comic book once with Batgirl, where she gets tricked because Clark and Kara are very tight because they're like the only two of their kind, right? So I relate to that too with my sister, where, you know, being South African and Filipino, right? This like this idea of like, oh, we're like the only two of our kind. It's and so there's like a relation there of like, oh, like you're my family, and so I've got to protect you. Maybe a little overprotective, Clark, but it's like this idea of like mirroring each other. I see you in me, but like we have a human family as well too. We can get into like the connection between Krypton and Earth in a future timeline, because Lois and Clark in many instances do have babies, right? And I mean, it'd be kind of cool if we do have some half Kryptonians running around here, right? Because what does that mean? Okay, let's just continue onwards. Let's see. Might not be getting used to it. I think, you know, when it comes to anything like relationship-wise, right? Like it's one of those things, like my sister, for example, she hates it when people suggest movies or suggest things to her, because she's always like, well, I don't like things that you think that I'll like. And even if she may like it, she doesn't want to have it be like you're the one who introduced her to it. Like anyways, it's just a weird thing. So I find like with the things that we like, and if we're introducing them to other people, there's a way of doing it if you recognize that there's something in them that you think that they would appreciate, and maybe highlight that more, right? As opposed to this almost like assumed thing, like, I think you'd really like this. Maybe instead approach it being like, I think you'd maybe really like this story because what the main character goes through is something that I think we went through in our friendship, kind of thing. So then they can look for that when they're reading it, kind of thing. Yeah. Okay, so let's continue onwards. So Leaksters, stand ready. This looks really psychedelic. Be prepared for anything. And then you see Supergirl saying, where the hell are we? It looks a little bit like a hell realm. Did you really, graphic voices? So we're now into the next part of Justice League. I got this one mainly because I really like the way that everyone's drawn. Because that's the beauty of comic books. Depending on the story, the illustrator, the writer, you're going to get a different version of each of these heroes, which is why I put on together. Yeah, Dan Mora is bomb. I haven't actually read a lot in terms of his illustration in a while, but if you like compare him to someone like George Perez, right? He's got a very specific vibe to the way he draws, or like Identity Crisis. Like they're all very different in how you're drawing your heroes, right? But they're all still them, right? They have to still carry a certain level of like respect for it, right? So let's continue onward, my friends. Impulse as in Bart, Barry's second child. Oh my goodness. The nerdiness in that comment. I think you're right. Yes, I'm not sure. I apologize. I don't know, but I think you're correct. Oh, they gotta be, right? I actually was also wondering this, that you guys, like, because the Supes, like Kryptonians, their powers come from the fact that, like, the yellow sun powers each of their cells up so much. Like, do you really need to be working out? But I guess so, right? Because, like, each cell, if you have more muscle cells, it's just gonna be more powerful muscle cells. But, like, how does the heat vision work? And, like, the super breath? I have questions. I'll figure it out. Okay. So we're in the Watchtower. At precisely 7:03 a.m. GMT, 20 world leaders and 6 superheroes just disappeared. Tornado, deploy a follow-up team to investigate the site. I have, Michael. It's providing no leads. The delegates inexplicably vanished. Only 30 minutes ago, and already the global economy is flatlining. Worse, nuclear powers are accusing one another of being behind this. Classic, right? Like, it's your fault, arguing all that kind of stuff. We need more help. Superman, this is Mr. Terrific. What is your location? Hey, Papa Dave, thank you for that. Japan, Inferno has sent a squad of robots to take out Earth's largest nuclear reactor. If it melts down, millions could die. Can you send backup? We can't spare anyone. Blue Beetle, Zatanna, and the rest of our hitters are at what used to be China's Three Gorges Dam. Inferno's machines just knocked down the world's biggest source of hydropower. Who are these guys? Hope you're well, Papa Dave. I'm reading. I'm in like a new kind of like spacey Supergirl from the future. I've got like nice long cape, that kind of situation. This is not really. Let me just adjust my cape a little bit so it's a little more of the front. It's a little big on me, so I need to bring it in, do a bit of sewing. So that's kind of what I've been up to as well, right? Working on new cosplays, right? Do we have an ETA for our call? Are you Pacific time, Pokey? Just so I remember. Because tomorrow in Discord, I'm going to be doing a bunch of things because it's Monday. It's a new week. So I'll message you there about when we can have a call in terms of your schedule. But tomorrow in the morning, I'm going to be doing a lot of, what do you call it? Like just like work, admin, boring stuff. And then I will be live later. We are going to be doing a music live. I don't remember what theme we're gonna go with. We've been having some issues when it comes to I guess like genre, you know, like even with like music for me, like, or dancing, like I dance to all styles of music, and in comic books, right? It's ridiculous confidence, yay, admin work. But you know, like right here, you know, for us creative people, the admin stuff, the organization part, it is Black History Month. Yeah. I took a course actually when I was in university, which was like Black literature. And I remember we read a book called Invisible Man, and it was like about this idea of, you know, certain stories are invisible, but like it's cool to, in a perspective of like certain heroes, certain storylines in comic books, where you have like characters from all over the world embodying powers based on where they're from. So you actually get yourself like, you know, they represent each of us, right? You can be seen in some sort of way. Oh, crazy. I share a birthday when more people as part of Black History. Martin Luther King Jr. That's very cool. All right, guys, let us continue onward, my friends. Also, how fun. Actually, I won't go on a tangent. I could go on but I really want to finish this with you guys. So we're at the Watchtower. We've got Japan, all this stuff. Joker. Who are these guys? Dr. Occult's met them. Airwave, but he's still in a coma. There's no answers there. They've referred to us as old foes more than once. The Legion of Doom would make sense, but Luthor's without his memories and working with Superman. Sinestro's rejoined the Green Lantern Corps. Joker's last known whereabouts are nowhere near the Inferno strike zones. So they're all accounted for. I don't know are curse words to me, man. I need data. Someone, somewhere has answers. And then the Atom Project Lab, elsewhere on the Watchtower. Ray, we're not at full strength with John's telepathic powers gone. We need him found quickly. Ooh, Robin, the heart me we completed my task. Yay, fan club, superhero stuff. I actually also am working on a cosplay of Mary Marvel that I have to get a new sewing machine in order to finish it, so stay tuned for that. So, ta-da! Okay, so we have Batman pushing Atom guy here to be like, I don't know, we need them found quickly. Let's hear. The Atom is doing his best, Batman. Give him a chance to speak. Thanks, John. We all know how unrelenting Batman can be when he wants something. Ryan Choi and I put the Atom Project together to track the superpowers that went missing after our fight with Amanda Waller. And you guys know how much I like Amanda Waller. I don't like Amanda Waller. Yeah, she like represents the government in most cases. And, you know, us aliens, we don't necessarily like government interference, experimentation, all that kind of good stuff. So I'll stay over here. Thank you very much. I'm not eating dragon eggs, Pokey. Stop spreading rumors. I never found that. She is annoying, right? She's always like, I mean, like, she is technically considered like a good guy too, right? That's a funny thing if you think about it. And that's the great way about how comic books can talk about different character types and how, you know, in our own everyday lives where like it can be sometimes really hard to talk about someone. We're like, wow, I don't like this person, or I do like this person. I don't really know why, but there's like a vibe they give off. You seem like you would betray me, or you would like stab me in the back kind of thing. That being said though, I am always the biggest fan of people like showing me who they are, right? Like it's not, this isn't a fun story, but I am married. So, but when I first got together with Father Z, Gwen Stacy, his ex-girlfriend actually like messaged me on Facebook and was like, don't date him. He's got like anger problems, blah, blah, blah. Right? I was like, okay, this is coming from an ex-girlfriend, right? So I'm going to take your advice with a grain of salt. So I didn't even respond to it. I just told my hubby what happened. And he was just like, yeah, like she cheated on me and that kind of thing. So it's just this kind of thing about like the stories that we have after relationships are ended. And, you know, whatever rights or wrongs we did in past relationships, the sins of our past, right? Like we can only hope to like learn from them and then do better next time. And right, as sometimes it just wasn't a fit, right? And that's okay. But you know, it can be hard when, of course, like one person wants to move on and the other person doesn't, and that kind of stuff. As anger was reasonable, yeah, exactly, right? So maybe she was upset at the fact that he found out, like, I don't know, and broke up with her. Like, I don't get it. Like, it's so weird with people. Okay, let's continue onward. Let's see here. Elsewhere. Oh, I have to let TikTok know I'm not a bot. Yeah, okay, perfect. Oh, Stormy. Hi. Oh, and thank you for the follow for status. Did I find Sorry's dad yet, Cara? You know what's funny? I don't know if they're going to do this in the Millie Alcock version of Supergirl because they're doing Woman of Tomorrow and she goes on this like space mission, right? There is a character called Comet, the space unicorn, who's a centaur who I think is like cursed, and he spends half his time as like a unicorn and half his time as like some really hot man, and he ends up having like a crush on Kara. I don't know if they end up having a relationship, but then like the whole thing's a little weird if you think about it. But hey, you know. Hey Spider Carnage, welcome. And stop doing that, Pokey. There's no dragon eggs eating here unless they're evil. Evil, right? Remember, you have good and evil versions of things. Okay, we can maybe eat the evil dragon eggs, but I don't know if you would want to. They might taste kind of funky. Alright, elsewhere. Hurrah! What's happening? You'll be the first to know, Mr. Prime Minister. If you can hear me over Thunderlord, that is. Move, people. This way. No, this way. Will everyone please pay attention, yells out Green Lantern. We need you to stay gathered. Good God, why aren't they listening? 20 leaders and no followers. Go figure. Some panicking, some trying to look tough. None of them accustomed to taking orders. Wonder Woman's the diplomat, right? Maybe she can talk to them. Alright, guys. Oh, thanks, Ryan. So we're going to go for a couple more panels, and then I'll catch you guys all very soon. Wonder Woman's the diplomat, right? Maybe she can talk to them. Hey, Wonder. Whoa. I'm a little busy. Oh my gosh, Wolfie. There it is. Yeah, Kevin, yeah, he's like my time. It's like, we sure do so. You can see Wonder Woman there. Like, she's like, well, I love how she's drawn in these, right? So we'll do one more panel, and then I'm going to say goodnight. I was actually supposed to be on a little bit of, yeah, Wolfie's literally like underneath my tripod right now. He's like pushing against it. Yes. All right. And so we have Green Lantern here saying, Sir, you're going to have to trust us and do as we say. I am not your puppet, Mr. Lantern, and I am in charge here. Third, to say that. Fourth, I appreciate their jobs require them to stay calm under stress. But come on. My apologies, but only in volume is there power. It's not you. I'm trying to focus on where we could possibly be and where the eject button is. And I'm coming up empty. is this place familiar to anyone? They're like in some gross, like as I told you, weird hell realm. It's like when you try to open a portal, make sure you know where you're going, hopefully, right? Direct it. Believe me, I'd remember a place crammed full of these lantern. We're done playing, folks. Sapphire, build some sort of protective bubble or dome. Everyone else, hustle. Impulse, watch out. We'll gather delegates as quickly as we can. Impulse, you're in the way. Bart, stop being underfoot. Scratch that. I told Superman we weren't, or you weren't great at teamwork. Just stand aside for a sec, okay? Get over there. And you can see here, he's just like, what? Oh, hi, Wayne. Yes. You, come here. Wow, you're way heavier than you look. Okay, I'm getting a trace on John's powers. Until recently, they were in... Am I reading this right? The African jungle. The African jungle. What are you doing, child? I saw you. After that, they traveled west. But what's weird is they just disappeared altogether. Went totally off the radar. And Batman's like, what do you mean? Totally off the radar. I saw that smile. You're with Inferno, aren't you? Ray, when did we lose track of John's powers? Exactly. And I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, you do. You have something to do with all of this. Why else will you be all calm and smiley, right? At exactly 7:03 a.m. GMT. Well, aren't you a clever boy? Close. Terrific. We now have a major situation. I think one of the G20 delegates was actually a plant. Whoever got John's telepathic powers, they're the ones who are behind the kidnapping. Now, forget. Gah. I could think if my ears would stop ringing, vibrating. Of course. This is the best bet, people. If I concentrate, I might be able to vibrate us out of this hell and into an adjoining dimension. Maybe ours, maybe not, but anything's better than here. Hang on. So everyone's like in this weird hell realm, and so Flash is like, okay, we're gonna vibrate ourselves out of here. I don't know exactly where, but anywhere is better than here at this point, right? Oh, that makes that, dude. That's like our little portal out of this joint. I think that's where I'm gonna end it here after I read this with Supergirl going through the portal with you guys. Well, it was worth a shot. Damn it. I don't suppose anyone recognizes this place? Actually, says Supergirl, I do. It's not much safer, but at least this dimension has an exit. The Watchtower, Phantom Zone. I don't know if it's I wonder if they went into the Phantom Zone. More about the Phantom Zone at a later date. All right, you guys, thank you for the Hanging Lights Neptune, and thank you guys for joining me for this very brand new Supergirl in space cosplay. I don't know if I'm going to keep the platinum wig for this look going forward. We shall see. I kind of like it with the whole thing. You want to see Wolfie at least once? He's at my feet. He'll get really mad at me, but he will be on tomorrow because Supergirl will be back tomorrow, but I'm going to have Supergirl Classic. Yes, Stormy, to be continued, just like all the best stories, right? Just like when you think it's darkest, you just gotta turn the page, right? So you guys, I will tell Brother Wolfie I said I love you, right? And Wolfie says he loves you guys too. Thanks for all the love. Have a beautiful night, you guys. We have a great, well, it's Monday already, right? So have a great Moon Day Monday. right? Hope you crush all your goals, right? And remember, it takes true courage for you to be exactly you in this cosmic game of life. So be sure to play as exactly you, because the universe is counting on you. But no worries, I do have your back. Until next time, my friends.